guys, thank you so much for joining me today. Grammys are just 3 to 4 days away, and as usual, I wanted to just lay down my thoughts, what I feel about something, which is why Halsey's 2024 album, The Great Impersonator, would have gotten nominated. Because I have some thoughts, so I'm just going to ramble about it. But first, I would like to show you this Mocha Mousse makeup which I did, if you are able to see it. I just did it impromptu, and here are the nails. If you don't know, this is the Pantone color of the year. I just try to adapt to it dearly. It is something which is fantastic to just play with. So there is that. Also, I wanted to talk about how it was very much difficult to listen to each and every song that released in 2024, even though sort of I knew that it might get some nomination. It was literally hard to keep up with because there was so music in 2024 to keep up with. I know a lot of you will agree with it because it was sort of very uh, it was very much hectic actually to keep up with all of the music. That's what I wanted to say here. Okay, so I haven't listened to all the albums, all the artists, even though it was Sabrina, Charlie, and Chapel Ruan's year. I was not able to keep up with every song, and sort of um, being in my late 20s, I did not sort of align with lots of songs which I might have used to if I was sort of a teenager or maybe in a college or something like that, or even in my early teens. So, the one more important thing is that in 2024, I went into this situation where I tried to, go into some music where the artist was not that much commercialized yet. So I discovered a few great artists like Winona Oak and so on, where their albums were very conceptual. Okay, and that's why I want to mention that even though we have TTPD, the Taylor Swift album, we have Sabrina's, we have Charlie's, we have Chappell Rowan's, no doubt it was their year. Okay, but I feel like Halsey's album also deserves some sort of mention in Grammys. She did not even receive a single nomination. Same happened last year, where I felt like Carolyn Polachek's Desire I Want to Turn It to You would have gotten some sort of recognition. But being Halsey's album, sort of relish in my own way, this sort of album is very conceptual. If you haven't still heard about it, her marketing campaign, the concept behind it was something which was very rooted in her truth, which was not something fictionalized, which was not something out of like the romanticized situation, or some sort of other stories like that. It was very rooted in her own personal health journey, which was very much imprinted throughout the album. Okay, there are a few of my favorite songs which I like to mention later, but I feel like um, she needs to be getting she needs some sort of recognition, because the album is very conceptual, lyrical. The story in each song is very much imbued in some sort of honesty, authenticity, and not everything is very sort of linked to everything romantic. Okay, there is a flavor of being in your own skin, in and having some sort of radical acceptance of what are you going through, and speaking with God, and panic attacks, because myself, I have sort of hypochondriac situation. I get a lot of health anxiety here and there. So sort of I literally sort of related with her album on another level. And uh, based on that, based on her interview with this She MD. There is a podcast called as She MD where she spoke about her journey with lymphoma after having her child and endometriosis and etc. etc. Even though I'm not totally aware about her medical journey and what she has been through and she's going through, it is very good listen being a woman because we go through lots of changes, so it is a good listen. And this album is rooted there. Like, she just had a child, he's not even 10, okay, and her life was sort of at stake, like she was very close to death in some sort, and going through all this crushing treatment for getting cured and getting sort of out of that lymphoma situation. She sort of went near her truth, near her heart, and this album just summarizes how vulnerable she felt around those moments, having a child, not knowing what is laying in front of her in her future, and who will take care of her son, because she sort of doesn't have like a partner who is the father of a child. So that is totally a different situation with her relationship, etc., etc. But being a single mother, even though she has a partner, but you know a mother who is just thinking about this vulnerable times in her life, which just summarizes this album. So there are many songs which speaks about aging parents, which speaks about how vulnerable she feels in the time of um, when she's going through this hardships. It is all about some sort of panic attacks you get after reaching some sort of midlife crisis after your mid 20s, like what my life holds ahead of me, etc., etc. Everything related to love, relationships just goes on the back burner, and real life hits you somehow. And this album is the blend of it all. Okay, and she has this so much vulnerability where she sort of metaphors, using situation, creating blend happens, and that's on so much brand. Like, if you got into Halsey because of Without Me and all of those songs like Closer, Smokers, you will see a totally different part, a totally different side of her, which neither of us have seen before. We definitely saw some of the undertone in the I'm Not a Woman and I'm a God, like the album which released like 2-3 years back. That was also a great album, I must say. But you know, this album is very conceptual, as I've been saying since start of this video. But this deserves a recognition as well. Grammys are commercialized. We all know that, but this artist whose 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 songs were sort of great, they had a great story in it which was very truthful. She was trying to be very vulnerable with it. The lyrics are very great. The marketing of this video was also something everything sort of noticed, and sort of were hyped about. So what she did was, before releasing this album, she went into this space where she was replicating dressing up uh, as lot of stars, like which are dead, alive, alike. She sort of replicated it, so she was like sort of impersonating them by adapting to their dressing style, etc., etc. And she just aced it, I must say. Okay, she must be something where she was very creatively involved in it. It was not something which was just about crying and being vulnerable, but we also saw her strength in some way, for sure. Okay, so there were many layers of this which I really liked, and I'm not going to go and say that other artists did not deserve the nomination, but I feel like this album deserves some sort of recognition. And the Dog Years, okay, the song is so much rooted in sort of vulnerability again. Like, I'm feeling like I'm not living enough. I have all of this, I'm not assured about life as such. There is a song called as Life of the Spider. draft in a bracket where she speaks about from the point of view of a spider, okay, like so much vulnerable that will just flush him off, will just toss him outside because you are just there, and it is sort of feeling like people not recognizing you as you, and she just goes in that POV of spider and just lays out like if you see a spider in a bathroom later after listening to that song, you will just feel so sympathy for the spider. And there are many people who just cried after listening to that song, okay. So that song is on that level, okay. This song is not some this two songs are not something you will sort of swirl or twerk on or just dance on. These are sort of heart hitting, heavy songs, okay. They are very heavy, emotionally heavy songs, okay. And the hurt feelings, and I believe in magic, these two are sort of blended in this parenting sort of role, and sort of relationships oriented song, like how I want my son to see me get old, and I want him to know that I was strong, and etc. etc. Just the way our parents feel about us. So it is in that area where we see how aging happens. We are also going to age. Our children are also going to grow up and see us, transition on the other side. So some hard hitting facts, all right. And then we have Darwinism. This concept is something brilliant where I feel like there is a song called Heathens which sort of has the same undertone of this song, which speaks about, okay, whole Darwinism theory, but she just speak about it lyrically. I love the bits on this song, okay, but then we have the Letter to God 1998 version. This Letter to God versions, there are sort of 3 to 4. I loved the 1998 version where she speaks about, you have answered my prayer, God, but I really want you to understand that I'm very scared. I want to go through this, but I'm very scared that I will leave my son alone, and I don't want to do it. Like, she's just very confronting uh, about her anger, at the same time her vulnerability, etc. etc. Okay, and then there is this bop song which is Panic Attack, okay. This is one of my favorites which I sort of listen to on loop in 2024 every now and then, because uh, I feel the same way sometimes, like a bit of anxious about some sort of stuff, and I feel like this song just was very much bop. Like, it made me sway here and there. It was very dancey song, and it was like hit me, like, this song is not something you will cry on, okay. The first few I mentioned, they are very heavy, okay. So if you are sort of teary eye person and all, like, this songs will get you, okay. And then we have Afraid of the Dark and Lessons. So these are the bonus tracks only on deluxe version of the album, and you may listen to this song. There are YouTube videos about it, people releasing it, and I listen to it on those only. I love the Afraid of the Dark and the Lessons. Again, these are very heavy songs. You are sort of going in this place where you will be getting this hits about, pangs about of nostalgia, whatever regrets you have in your life so far, whatever you have lived, how much old you are, doesn't matter. But these are also sort of, the Afraid of the Dark one has some sort of great chorus to it. I like the chorus of it, and the Lessons is also sort of heavy. So, in fact, all of the album is heavy. Okay, so if you are someone who is done with lots of, teenage romance and love, etc., etc., and you are done with that chapter and that department of your life, and you are ready to something new and crying, crying about something which is different rather than men, etc., etc., this album is it. Okay, this album is very conceptual again, and it is having all of the flavors, all of the factual flavors which we start getting acquainted to as we grow older. And I feel like because of all of this blend and much more, what sort of artist she is and she has become, I feel like because of this, because of just this, she was deservingly someone which I saw having a Grammy nomination for this album, which is The Greater Impersonator. And that's it for today. And thank you so much for listening to me. And that's it. This has been a great listen. I must say, like, this is not something where you will get back to listen to when you are like sort of daydreaming and all. This is something you will sit with from start to finish, and just mule over it. But you are so much refreshed after listening to it, in different sense of way. So this is something which I'll definitely cherish, and I hope you guys give it a listen too. Thank you so much. Bye.